The topic is finding areas using antiderivatives. So let's do question A. Graph f of x equals sine x between x equals 0 and x equal to pi. So that's a simple one. We go y equals sine, just look like that. And then of course keep continue, but we're just graphing it to 2 pi. Now, question B, we want us to evaluate the definite integral over 0 to pi, which means integral from 0 to 2 pi of f of x, which is sine x dx. Now we know the integral of sine is minus cosine, so minus cosine of x between 0 and 2 pi, and all we need to do plug the 2 pi first, so this is going to be minus cosine of 2 pi, right, minus, and then plug the 0, minus cosine of 0. That would be equal to, so that would be cosine of 2 pi is 1, so that's minus 1, minus, then cosine of 0 is 1, so minus cosine of 0 is minus 1. This is going to be minus 1 plus 1, which is 0. So integral from 0 to 2 pi of sine x dx is going to be equal to 0. And then you'll see, when we do C, you'll see why it's going to be equal to 0. Now for C, they're asking us to find the area between the graph of f of x and the x-axis. In other words, this area plus this area. So if we call this A1 and we call this A2, we need to find A1 and A2 and then add them up. Now A1 is equal to integral from 0 to pi of sine x dx, right? And then A2 is going to be equal integral from pi to 2 pi of sine of x dx. So let's do this. So integral of sine x, we know it's minus cosine of x. Well, A2 actually is absolute value. Remember when it's, because that part of the graph is under the x-axis, so sine of x is negative. Let me write it here. Sine of x is positive when x is between 0 and pi. That's why the area is just integral of sine x dx. But sine of x is less than 0 when x is between, bigger or less than 0 when x is between pi and 2 pi. So for the second part we need to use absolute value. So A1 will be equal minus cosine of x between 0 and pi, which is equal to, plug in pi, minus cosine of pi, and then minus cosine of 0, which is equal to, that would be cosine of pi is negative 1, so minus negative 1, and then minus, and then cosine of 0 is 1, minus 1. This will be equal 1 plus 1, which is 2. Now for A2, this is going to be equal absolute value of, integral of sine is the same thing minus cosine, but this time is between pi and 2 pi. Integral of minus cosine, so we need to plug 2 pi first, so minus cosine of 2 pi, and then minus, and then plug in the pi, minus cosine of pi, and then you want absolute value of everything. Then this is going to be equal to, cosine of 2 pi is 1, so that would be minus 1 minus, And cosine of pi is 1, and then it's a minus 1, and then absolute value, which is equal to, yeah, let's make sure this is like that, and then there is another minus, right? So the inside, if you do all the inside, is going to be minus 2, but absolute value is negative 2, which is 2. So you can see when you do integrals of both without the absolute value, they kind of like cancel those areas. Those two indefinite integrals, they cancel. One of them will give you 2, and one of them will give you negative 2. So when you add them, this is how we get a 0. But when you do the area, it's different. So area is going to be equal A1 plus A2, which is equal to plus 2, which is 4. So here, the area we got 2, and then here we got absolute value of negative 2, which is 2. So we add them, we got 4. So that's it for this example.